Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I'm here to recommend some comics and graphic novels. Before I set out to plan this video, I was under this illusion that I read like a ton of comics and graphic novels because I feel like I have, but as it turns out, it's because most of the comics and graphic novels that I read are actually sort of just related to the TV I watch. So I've read a lot of Firefly comics, a lot of Doctor Who, and Buffy, and Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I haven't read as much other stuff that's not related to TV and movies. However, I did put together a collection of a few comics and a few graphic novels that I have really enjoyed and that I think you will enjoy too, and so I am going to talk about all of them. A few people have requested this video, and it's about time I got around to it. It's kind of all the intro you need, so let's just get started, and I'm going to start by talking about some comics, and then we'll get into graphic novels a little bit later. But let's talk comics. So first of all, I feel like I should just get this out of the way and recommend Lumberjanes. I know, everyone, don't skip me. I'll keep it short. I recommend Lumberjanes at any given opportunity. It is a fabulous comic series about these girls who go up to a summer camp under the illusion that it's going to be just sort of a fun summer camp, and they wind up finding monsters and other supernatural things that they have to fight, and it's happy and bright and really inclusive and diverse, and it's so good, which is why I recommend it constantly and always. I won't talk more about it. They're great comics, and apparently we're getting a book series this coming year. Oh my god, that's all I've ever wanted. Two of the main girls in the series are queer. One of the main girls in the series is trans. There's a lot more than that as far as other identities. It's great. Sorry, I'm already talking too long. Read Lumberjanes. One of the creators of Lumberjanes, Noelle Stevenson, does some of my favorite art in the world. She did the art for the cover of Fangirl, if you did not know. But I also just wanted to shout her out for another reason. She wrote a graphic novel called Nimona. Nimona is about this fabulous girl. She is a shapeshifter, and she happens upon this world's most notorious villain, Ballister Blackheart. But once she finds him, she wants to help him make all of his villainous plots more evil because they're not that evil to begin with. Really in-depth and interesting. Nimona is one of the most fascinating characters, and Noelle Stevenson's art style is just gorgeous. That's why I love so much of what she does. I think that she has distinctive style, I think she has distinctive characters and storylines. But if I'm recommending Lumberjanes, I also have to recommend Noelle Stevenson's other work, and Nimona is one of my all-time favorite graphic novels, so I had to shout that out. The next comic series that I want to recommend is Bitch Planet. This is a comic series by Kelly Sue DeConick and Valentine Delandro, and I only have single issues of it. I collect this exclusively in single issues because I always want to read the next installment immediately. The first trade does exist if you want to just go pick up a trade, and I think that we're building up to the second trade being released soon, but this basically takes place in a future world in which I guess misogyny has gotten even more intense than it already is. Possibly this will hit a little too close to home in light of political things currently happening. But in this future world, if a woman does something that basically anyone doesn't like, she is labeled non-compliant and sent to a prison planet called Bitch Planet. This is fabulous. It's got kind of a Orange is the New Black in space kind of vibe to it. Again, tons of diversity in female characters, political commentary. It's a fabulous, fabulous series. I think it takes a little bit to hit its stride, but by the time I started getting into some of the newer issues, I think it has really figured out its storyline and its characters. It's great. The last comic series that I want to recommend is Giant Days. This is by John Allison and Lissa Treiman, and it is a slice-of-life type comic series about these three girls their first year at university. This is up there with Lumberjanes in terms of, like, positivity. Like, I feel like you can't read this or Lumberjanes and be sad or upset because they're so generally positive. They don't buy into that thing that in order to have complexity, everything needs to be kind of like grimdark and terrible. Three girls are really funny. It's a great exposure to college life, which I'm always looking for more of. The art style is so bright and fun. One of the main characters is queer, which is a thing that's currently being explored. If you're looking for just a really fun comic series with great dynamic female characters, then I recommend Giant Days. Now we're going to talk about some graphic novels, and I want to start in with a two graphic novel set called Boxers and Saints by Luen Yang. I originally discovered Luen Yang through the Avatar: The Last Airbender comics, as mentioned earlier. They're beautiful, they're so great, such a great extension of the series, and I really wanted to check out his other books. So Boxers and Saints is a two two-part set. It talks about the Boxer Rebellion, and it takes it from the perspective of the two opposing sides. They create a really incredible interwoven narrative. The art style is gorgeous. I always love Jean Luen Yang's style. It just does a really great job of exploring conflict and exploring either side of a conflict while still having such human and authentic stories. It's fabulous. I also wanted to recommend at least one more of Jean Luen Yang's graphic novels. So I'll just say a quick aside that I also recommend American Born Chinese by Jean Luen Yang. This is 3 different stories of a variety of characters. They range from tackling what it means to be Chinese American, to Chinese stereotypes, to Chinese mythology and fables, and a really, again, great interwoven narrative. Jean Luen Yang is great at those. And I couldn't help but recommend a second one of his works. I love Boxers and Saints, but if you like Boxers and Saints, then I think you should pick up American Born Chinese too. And if you like Avatar: The Last Airbender, you should read the comics. They're fabulous. Beyond that, I want to recommend This One Summer by Jillian Tamaki and Mariko Tamaki. This was one of the first graphic novels I ever read, and I love it. This is about a girl named Rose, and her parents have always gone up to a place called Awago Beach every summer. She has a summer friend there who's her best friend, and it's always been the same, and then this year is different. And her parents are always fighting. This person who's always been her best friend, they're starting to have this distance between them, and there's also a romance going on. It's just a fabulous graphic novel, in my opinion, that depicts growing up and girlhood in really interesting ways. This is the art style. It's all in this very purpley blue hue, and it's just melancholy at times, but also kind of hopeful about the process of growing up. I just think that it does a beautiful job of telling Rose's story and about talking about how relationships change as you age, and I think it will always be one of my favorites. And the last 2 graphic novels I want to recommend I don't have with me here, and they are both graphic memoirs, which is a format I love for memoirs. I've just been discovering more and more how much I appreciate the graphic memoir. So the first one that I want to recommend is Honor Girl by Maggie Thrash. This is about Maggie going up to a summer camp when she is a teenager and discovering that she's a lesbian. It's got kind of a funky art style that you don't really expect when you open it up, but it really fits the vibe of the story. It's such a great encapsulation of Maggie at this time and at this thing that she's going through in her life. It really authentically captures what summer camp feels like. It made me feel like camp again, and I haven't gone to camp in years, and it's just a really beautifully done graphic novel in terms of storytelling. The other graphic memoir that I would like to recommend is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. I feel like I recommend this one a lot too, and I mean, so here we are again. This graphic memoir is about Allison's relationship with her father. Some of it is about her relationship with her sexuality as she grows up and realizes that she is a lesbian, but the other half of that is her relationship with her father and the fact that they've always had this disconnect and this inability to communicate with one another, and as it turns out, he's gay, but she doesn't ever really get the chance to talk to him about this because he has killed himself. This is a beautiful graphic memoir. Alison Bechdel has a real way with words in this, and her art style is distinct, of course. So much of this book is really contemplative and internal and just a process of thinking about things and rationalizing them, trying to come up with the reasons her father was the way he was. And as much as I love the graphic novel, and I do adore it, this has also been translated into one of my all-time favorite Broadway shows. I got the chance to see it when it was brand new on Broadway, and basically me and the group of people I went to see it with sat there and sobbed for 2 solid hours watching Fun Home. So if you read this and you love it, then I also recommend that you go and listen to the music from the Broadway show, particularly a song called Ring of Keys, which is a moment described in the graphic memoir when Allison sees a butch presenting woman for the first time, and she kind of recognizes that that's a thing that she could be, and her heart connects to that. It's honestly, I cry every time I listen to it, every time they perform it live. If you love Fun Home, if you've liked Fun Home, please go listen to the music because it does an incredible job of adapting such an impressive and introspective work. And yeah, read Fun Home, because Fun Home is just so good. Okay, there you go. Those are some of my comic and graphic novel recommendations. This is in no way all of the comics and graphic novels that I've ever read in my life and enjoyed. I'll just have to save this up for another edition of this. Anyway, if you have further comic and graphic novel recommendations for me, please leave those in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. If you have read any of these comics or graphic novels, let me know your thoughts on them as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!